Sometimes you just won't understand why life is the way it is. Why life is the way it is. Things don't always go the way you plan them. The way you plan them. I just wanna testify. I just wanna testify.
I am a convicted felon. There is no period after that sentence. I did something bad when I was 21. I used to shoot heroin into my veins. Used to cop it at 14th and W. But mostly, I let my boyfriend cop it while I waited in the car. I am a convicted felon. There is no period after that sentence. I went to Garnet Patterson Junior High, then Fairmont Heights, then Duval Senior High. Got grades, barely. Graduated, barely. Loved myself, not at all. I got pregnant the year after graduation. I didn't know what else to do. Sex and drugs. Sex and drugs. I carried my baby in my belly when Martin Luther King took a bullet in the head. Carried her while H Street Northeast burned to the ground. Gave birth that November. I am a mother. There is no period after that sentence. I am a convicted felon. There is no period after that sentence. I put Similac in baby bottles while drinking cough syrup. I walked the mall in a stupor while pushing a baby stroller. I left my baby with my mother. Followed my baby's daddy to North Carolina. At a Steppenwolf concert, my baby's daddy and his friend sold heroin to an undercover agent while I nodded to "Born to be Wild," put drugs and syringes in my pocketbook. I was charged with possession of heroin with intent to distribute, possession of a needle and syringe. I am a convicted felon. There is no period after that sentence. In jail, my mama talked to me through glass on a phone. She cried while I tried not to. When you go back to your cell, look out the window, she said. And I did. I saw my mama holding my baby. I saw my mama pointing up to a window in the jail. I saw my baby looking, searching, yearning. I cried. I cried. I cried. I got 5 years probation. Whew. Lesson learned. Not. I went to jail. Stayed overnight one time for stealing. Houston to pay for drugs. Thank God, Allah, Buddha, Jehovah, Great Spirit. There were no computers back then. No one knew I was on probation before I was free again. In the game of life, I had to return to start. Go back and try again. Try to find a job with a criminal record. Check the box for no on the applications that ask, have you ever been arrested or convicted of a crime? Count the days until they find out the truth and fire you. Or tell the truth. Yes, I have been convicted of possession of heroin with intent to distribute. Watch kind faces turn sour and vacant jobs magically filled. I kept trying, until one day a wrinkled-faced white woman smiled at my truth and said, erase your criminal record from this application and I will get you a job. I erased my record with a rubber tip, brushed the crumbs of it away from me, and became a clerk typist. I brought my daughter back home, shared an apartment with a girlfriend. I wrote at night about being a convicted felon, about being a mother, about trying to find a job, about not loving myself, about hoping one day I did. I named myself a poet and a writer and dreamed of being famous. But for real, I dated a man who was a hustler, who sold stolen goods and weed, paid for my child's daycare and my hair. He was the wolf stepping up to Little Red Riding Hood's door. He brutally beat me and raped me before there was such a thing as date rape. And I prayed, oh God, let me die. Take me away from this place where I hurt. Take me to heaven. I prayed until my spirit seemed to leave my body, and I looked down at myself lying on that bed, bleeding. A young girl looking like a rag doll. I felt sorry for her, but I was almost in heaven until I felt a sharp pain. A gut-wrenching stabbed me in the stomach pain, a pain that said, "This is what your mother will feel when they tell her you were found bloody and beaten to death." I prayed another prayer. Don't let me die. Don't let me die. Don't let me die. Don't let my mother feel this. Don't let my mother feel this. I want to come back. Bring me back, Lord. And I was returned to my bed. My rapist fled. I went to police, but he fled. They issued a warrant, but he fled. And I prayed he would keep on fleeing, because I could not live through a trial. Could not have people look at me and see nothing, or see a convicted felon. I am a convicted felon, but there is no period after that sentence. And police did not catch him. And I rejoiced a torturous victory. At night, I wrote about what I could not speak. I got a job as a secretary at a newspaper, the Charlotte News. I saw people called reporters who wrote for a living. I wrote to live. I showed poems to white girls I worked with. "I know exactly what you mean," one said. "This is the truth," said another. I was stunned. I did not know everybody wants the same thing. I did not know everybody wants to love, to be loved. I wrote to live, and I stopped doing drugs. I wrote to live. A friend on his bicycle stopped at my house, gave me information on a program at the University of California, Berkeley, that would teach me to become a journalist for free. I heard, free trip to California. I applied. 3 months later, I get a letter from the mailbox. "Congratulations, you have been accepted into the summer program for minority journalists." I forgot about free trip to California. I thought, who are these people who see potential in me when I don't see potential in my own self? I went to California, studied, learned, listened, wrote until I believed, and I became a reporter. I am a convicted felon. I am a mother. I am a reporter. Where is the period? I am a reporter at the Miami News. I am a reporter at the Washington Star. I am a reporter at the Washington Post. I buy a house, a car. I send my daughter to college. At the Washington Post, some of us reporters are preparing for a lawsuit. A lawyer asked me, "Is everything correct on your employment application?" There is that question that always stumped me. I think of the old white woman who invited me to lie. I think of the jobs I wanted and could not have. I think of my decision to try to make a lie the truth. I am a convicted felon. There is no period after that sentence. Is there? The lawyer says, "Tell the editor the truth." And so I tell the famous Ben Bradley, who tells me the board must meet to decide whether or not to continue to employ you. I stumble to the ladies' room blinded by tears. I am devastated. I have to pay my daughter's tuition. I have a mortgage. I have a car note. But the truth, the gut-wrenching, deep in the soul truth is, I believe I will be nobody if I do not work at the Washington Post. I am a Washington Post reporter. I have placed a period after that sentence. While the board meets, I pray, "God, who am I?" 1 month passes. "God, who am I?" 2 months. "God, who am I?" 3 months. 4 months. 5 months. "God, who am I?" And then one day, before I ask, a voice deep inside me says, "I am created in the image of God and capable of all things." I rejoice. This is who I am. This is who I will always be, no matter where I work, no matter where I live, no matter what I do. I am created in the image of God and capable of all things. Ben Bradley calls me into his office. "We have decided to keep you because you are so darn talented." I am a convicted felon. There is no period after that sentence. I worked at the Washington Post for 16 years. They think I came there to be a reporter. You and I know I went there to find out who I am. Today is a new beginning. Today is another day to write a new sentence about your life, about who you are. You get to place the period wherever you want it. Other people will try to define you with their stereotypes, limited vocabulary, outdated and thin dictionaries. Don't give them that power. You are capable of all things. You are not defined by your worst day, your worst year, your worst behavior. You are magnificent beyond your own belief. You are resilient. You can erase a past, brush away the residue of shame and pity, rewrite your name in all caps. Let someone else place the period after your last breath. But for now, rejoice. Rejoice. You are created in the image of God, capable of all things. Amen and amen and amen.